Alright people, let's go ahead and revise our next chart today. The next chart is on composition. Everyone, let's take a quick linking. We started learning GST with goods or service. Goods or service has to be supplied. Supply can be either interstate supply or intrastate supply. Interstate supply, IGST will be levied. Intrastate supply, CGST will be levied. Once GST is levied, GST has to be collected and paid by a taxable person, right everyone? Now people went ahead and told, sir, this normal levy may we have to take input, we have to charge output, input output set off, paying balance to the government. Sir, too much of headache is there. Can you go ahead and give us a simpler scheme? And government went ahead and told, okay, normal scheme if you don't want, under section number 10 we will give you composition levy. Right everyone, and here comes composition levy under section number 10 of the CGST Act. Everyone, under composition what will happen? Government will go ahead and tell you, sir, people went ahead and told the government, you see our condition because of coming of GST. Government went ahead and told, okay, we will go ahead and give you a simpler scheme which is composition scheme. But to go ahead and take composition scheme, your preceding financial year turnover has to be up to 1.5 crore or 75 lakhs. So government will first go ahead and see if your turnover in the preceding financial year is up to 1.5 crore or 75 lakh. This 50 lakh, don't cut anything unless I tell you. So last year turnover is up to 1.5 crore or 75 lakh excluding interest or discount ka income. Then government is going ahead and telling, if your turnover is up to 1.5 crore or 75 lakh, then you are a person who is eligible in the current financial year for composition levy. Sir, for whom it is 1.5 crore and for whom it is 75 lakh. Sir, 75 lakh is for people who are in the state of Mantas and 1.5 crore is for people who are in the state of Hoja. Sir, if you are a person who is in the state of Mantas, M cube, M means Meghalaya, Mizoram, Manipur, A for Arunachal, N for Nagaland, Tripura, Uttarakhand and Sikkim. Then for you the limit applicable is 75 lakh. But if you are in the state of Hoja, sir, Himachal Pradesh, any other state, Jammu and Kashmir and Assam, then for you the limit applicable is 1.5 crore. Then government went ahead and told, if your turnover in the last year as per your applicability, if it is 1.5 crore or 75 lakh excluding interest or discount, then in the current financial year up to a turnover of 1.5 crore or 75 lakh, you are a person who will be eligible up to a turnover of 1.5 crore or 75 lakh. You can go for composition scheme. If you are going for composition scheme, always remember one thing, you have to go for PAN wise, all India basis has to opt together. If you have 3 registration under your PAN, all have to come under composition together or all have to get out together. So they are telling PAN wise, all India basis to opt together. Done everyone? Now when you are going for composition scheme, there are people who are eligible. Eligible people are told under section number 10.1 and there are people who are ineligible. Ineligible people are told under section number 10.2. Eligible people who are told under section number 10.1 are MTR, M for manufacturer, T for trader, R for restaurant. M for manufacturer, T for trader, R for restaurant. MTR. Are we clear everyone? Sir, a manufacturer will go ahead and pay 0.5% CGST and 0.5% SGST of his turnover. A trader will go ahead and pay 0.5% CGST and 0.5% SGST of his turnover, which is taxable turnover. Are we clear? 0.5% of his taxable turnover and 0.5% of his taxable turnover. Restaurant or caterer will always pay 2.5 and 2.5% of their turnover in state. And always remember this 1%, 1% and 5% which is being paid, it is to be paid out of your own pocket. You can't go ahead and collect it from your customer. Right everyone? I went ahead and told you, if a person ka turnover in the last year is up to 1.5 crore 75 lakh, in the current financial year he is eligible for an option. Option is to go for composition scheme and it is to be taken PAN wise all India basis. Person eligible is MTR. Now, if you are a person who is eligible, you will not go ahead and if you have gone ahead and taken composition scheme, if you are buying from a registered person, don't take any ITC. If you are buying from those suppliers on which RCM is applicable, you will have to pay tax at the rate of normal rates, which is basically applicable to those supplies under RCM, and you will not get any credit also. Are we clear, everyone? Whenever you are an eligible person and you have taken composition scheme and you are going ahead and supplying, you will not go ahead and charge any tax to your customer. You will not give them any tax invoice. You will only give them bill of supply, and on the basis of bill of supply, they will not get any ITC. Are we clear, everyone? Yes, sir, we got it. Now, a person who is under composition scheme, who are the people who are ineligible? So, if you are a manufacturer, trader or restaurant, you are ineligible. Who are the people who are ineligible for composition scheme? If you are a person who is falling under MINES, if you are a person who is falling under MINES, then you are a person who will be ineligible. Person who are ineligible, number one is manufacturer. If you are a manufacturer of pan masala, aerated water, ice cream, tobacco. Now, for November 22, the new amendment which is there, fly as break wala person is also added. So, if you are a person who is going ahead and making fly as break or fly as block or fly as aggregate with 90% or more fly ash content, then you are a person who is ineligible for composition scheme. If you are a person who is going ahead and making bricks of fossil meal or similar siliceous earth, then also you are a person who is ineligible for composition scheme. If you are a person who is going ahead and making building bricks, those brown color ka bricks, then also you are a person ineligible for composition scheme. Or if you are a person who is making earthen or roofing tiles, then also you are ineligible. So, a person who is a manufacturer of PAIT, pan masala, aerated water, ice cream and tobacco, or you are a person who is going ahead and making what? Bricks or tiles, roofing tiles, etc., then you are a person who is ineligible. I for interstate. If you are an interstate outward supplier, then you are ineligible. Buyer is okay. Then N for NRTP or CTP is ineligible. If you are a person who is supplying non-taxable supplies, whether goods or services, then also you are ineligible. E for e-commerce operator. If you are supplying through e-commerce, who is going to deduct TCS, then in that scenario you are ineligible for composition scheme. And S for service providers are ineligible other than restaurant or catering, or if you are a person who is providing little service, then also it is okay. Little service means 10% of the turnover in the state or union territory in the preceding financial year, that ka 10% or 5 lakh, whichever is higher, then you are eligible for composition scheme. All other service providers are ineligible. So, ineligible people are M for manufacturer of PAIT, bricks and roofing tiles, and Baba I for interstate outward supplier, N for NRTP, CTP or non-taxable goods ka supplier, E for person supplying through e-commerce who is going to deduct TCS, S for service providers are also ineligible other than restaurant or catering, or if you are a service provider who is supplying marginal services which is last year ka 10% or last year ka turnover ka 10% or 5 lakh, whichever is higher. Are we clear, everyone? So, what did I tell you till now? I went ahead and told you, if you are a person whose last year turnover is up to 1.5 crore or 75 lakh, 1.5 crore in Hoja, 75 lakh in Mantor, then in the current financial year you get an option. Option is that you can go for composition scheme. Composition scheme, they have gone ahead and told PAN wise all India basis will be given together. MTR is eligible, ineligible is mines. Now, if you are a person who is eligible under MTR, then they went ahead and told MTR is allowed to supply services up to 10% of the turnover in state or union territory, excluding interest or discount, or 5 lakh, whichever is higher. So, if you are a person who is MTR and you are going to provide services, little services is allowed. How much? Last year ka turnover ka 10% or 5 lakh, whichever is higher. Then they went ahead and told, now if you have gone ahead and supposedly your last year ka turnover was 1 crore rupees, then 1 crore rupees ka 10% is 10 lakh or 5 lakh, which is higher, 10 lakh rupees. So 10 lakh ka services you can go ahead and provide in the current year, but 10 lakhs may you don't have to go ahead and include interest or discount. Means after you have gone ahead and calculated the 10% of 5 lakh, whichever is higher, exclude interest or discount in current year also. Always remember, a person who is under composition scheme will have to go ahead and make quarterly payment. Quarterly payment by what date? 18th, and he has to file CMP 08 Annually, he has to go ahead and file one return, which is GSTR 4 by 30th of April, and annual return he will go ahead and file by 31st of December, which is GSTR 9A. He has to go ahead and mention in his bill, which is issuing, that he is a composition taxable person, not eligible to collect tax on supply. He has to also go ahead and mention in the notice board which is there that he is a composition taxable person. Basically the notice board which is at his additional place of business and principal place of business, he has to say that he is a composition taxable person. He has to also go ahead and file an intimation. See Baba, tell me one thing, if you are a person who is going for composition scheme, always remember one thing, if you are obtaining a new registration, first time registration ka case mein, when you are filling part B of GST REG 02, you just have to tick that you want composition and your registration comes as composition. But if you are switching from normal person to composition scheme, then you have to go online and file one intimation which is known as CMP 02. Three state mein, if you want, three state mein you have three different registration and you want them under composition scheme. Always remember, three state mein you don't have to file three separate intimation. One intimation in one state means all registration will come under composition. I have told you, registered person switching to composition, normal person switching to composition will file an intimation prior to the commencement of year in CMP 02. One intimation pan wise and not every state wise. One pan wise intimation is enough. From any login you can go ahead and file that intimation, and once you file that intimation, every year you are not required to file that intimation. Once you have filed, you are under composition, you will continue to be under composition unless you do any violation or you are doing any self withdrawal. Can I go ahead everyone? Yes sir. Whenever you are checking applicability, that sir, can I take composition scheme, you will have to see last year ka aggregate turnover. Whenever you are making payment, you will have to see state-wise turnover. On the basis of that turnover, you have to make the payment. And always remember one thing, state-wise turnover pay you make the payment. State-wise you maintain the record. State-wise you go ahead and file all the return. But when you are checking eligibility, you have to take last year ka aggregate turnover. Right everyone? Now they have gone ahead and told applicability is always pan-wise aggregate turnover, payment is always state-wise turnover, compliances and records are always state-wise. Always remember one thing, when you are going ahead and determining, supposingly in 1 year you are going ahead and determining in the year 1920 that how much do I have to pay tax, and this is your first year which is there, or might be in this year you are not registered. So till the time you don't become registered, for an example your turnover is only 40 lakh rupees, then you will not take registration. After that your turnover is 60 lakh rupees and you have interest income of 30 lakh rupees. Always remember, when you are determining on what amount you have to pay the tax, from 1st of April up to the date of becoming liable, that amount has to be excluded, and also interest has to be excluded, and only on the remaining amount you have to go ahead and pay tax. Now, supposingly 2021 is the next year and you are going ahead and trying to find out what is your aggregate turnover of the last year for going ahead and checking whether you are eligible for composition scheme in the current year or not, then last year turnover will include 1st April up to the date of becoming liable, and after that wala turnover only. Also, it means your last year turnover has to be taken as 1 crore if you are trying to see whether you are eligible for composition or not. Then last year turnover is how much? 1 crore rupees, because from 1st April up to the date of becoming liable will be taken in aggregate turnover, but for payment purpose that will not be taken. It says over here that for determining tax payable, turnover in state or union territory always exclude from 1st April up to the date of becoming liable, but for determining eligibility, when you are checking aggregate turnover, please include the supplies from 1st April up to the date of becoming liable. Always remember, whether it is aggregate turnover or it is turnover in state for the purpose of making payment, you always have to go ahead and exclude exempt supply of service, which is interest or discount. Are we clear everyone? Yes sir, we are all clear till here. Now listen to me very carefully. If you are a person who is ineligible under section number 10(1) as a MTR, manufacturer, trader or restaurant, or you are a person who is ineligible under section number 10(2) mines, then what you can do, you can come to section number 10(2)A, which goes ahead and says if you are a person whose turnover, now you have to go ahead and see, if you are a person whose turnover in the last year was up to 50 lakh rupees, then in the current financial year up to a turnover of 50 lakh you will be eligible for composition scheme, which is a special composition scheme under section number 10(2)A. Section number 10(2)A was introduced for those people who are ineligible under 10(1) or 10(2). They can come to section number 10(2)A, but section number 10(2)A will be available to you only if your aggregate turnover is less than equal to 50 lakh in the preceding financial year, excluding interest or discount. Plus, you are a person who is ineligible under section number 10.1 and 10.2, only then you can come to section number 10.2a. But always remember, if you are a person who is coming under section number 10.2a, you will be liable to pay tax at the rate of 3% CGST and 3% SGST in the state or union territory on the turnover of that state or union territory, excluding interest or discount. Condition is your last year turnover should be up to 50 lakh rupees and you should be ineligible under section number 10.1 and 10.2. Always remember, who are the people who are ineligible under 10.2a? 10.2a may people who are ineligible are MINE. What do you mean by MINE? M means manufacturer of pan masala, aerated water, ice cream, tobacco. Sir, all this fly ash, bricks, etc. and roofing tiles, etc. All these people are ineligible. I for interstate outward suppliers are ineligible. N for non-taxable goods or NRTP CTP is ineligible. E for persons supplying goods or service through e-commerce are also ineligible. Here they have told mine only because S is service provider. They have not told S over here because section number 10.2a is a scheme which is basically for service provider or goods plus service, both ka provider, who is basically ineligible under section number 10.1 or 10.2. Right everyone? Yes sir, point is clear everyone over here. Now remember one thing, section number 10.5 goes ahead and says if the proper officer has a doubt on you that registered person is not eligible for composition scheme or he has gone ahead and done any contravention, then first he will go ahead and issue a show cause notice in GST CMP 05. You have to go ahead and reply within 15 days in CMP 06, and once you go ahead and reply, he will go ahead and give you a reply. Once you go ahead and reply, then proper officer will go ahead and give you a order whether he will go ahead and allow you under composition. If he allows you, no tension, continue under composition. If he denies, then he will issue a denial order saying I am denying you composition from this date, and from that date till today's date, whatever you have paid only 1% tax, he will tell whatever is the differential tax you have not paid, that differential tax you will be liable to pay along with penalty, and for that he will apply provisions of section number 73 and 74. Basically he will go ahead and give you a demand order. If you don't pay demand order amount, they will hang you upside down and recover the amount. Remember on one thing everyone, whenever you are coming from a normal scheme to composition scheme, you have to go online and file one form which is known as CMP 02. Along with that, because it is always at the beginning of the year, you can come under composition scheme. Once the year starts, when you are under composition scheme, you have to go online and you also have to file one GST ITC 03 within how many days? 60 days, saying, sir, how much is the credit I have to go ahead and reverse with respect to input in stock, input in semi-finished goods, input in finished goods and capital goods. That calculation is done in section number 18.4, read with rule number 44. Now you are going ahead and carrying out composition scheme. Always remember one thing, if you are going ahead and carrying out composition scheme and by chance you cross the threshold limit or you violate one condition, then you have to go online. Baba, from the very day you have gone ahead and done a violation or you have gone ahead and cross the threshold limit, you are now a normal person, you can take ITC and charge GST. Government went ahead and told also within the next 7 days, within the next 7 days, you have to go online and file one form which is GST CMP 04. How many days may? 7 days may. So if you have gone ahead and done any violation, you were under composition, carrying out composition, you did any violation or you cross the threshold limit, immediately you become a normal person. Right everyone, and you have to charge GST, take ITC, but you also have to inform the officer in CMP 04 suo moto. Suo moto you have to go ahead and inform on your own, you have to go ahead and inform, and that is for informing you have to file CMP 04. But sir, if I want to go ahead and voluntarily withdraw, if you want to go ahead and voluntarily withdraw, then before you are going from the date you are going to withdraw, before that date only you have to go ahead and file CMP 04. In case of self withdrawal, CMP 04 before the date of such withdrawal. Always remember one thing, you were under composition, now you are going to come under normal scheme. You were under composition, so you did not take the ITC, some stock must be lying with you. If inputs are lying in stock, input are lying in semi-finished goods, input are lying in finished goods or capital goods which are there, because you had not taken the ITC, now when you come under normal scheme, you can take all the ITC relating to input in stock, input in semi-finished goods, input in finished goods, and also with respect to capital goods. For that, you have to read section number 18.1c along with rule number 40. So they are telling you can go ahead and file GST ITC 01, telling what is the input in stock with respect to which how much credit you want, input in your semi-finished goods with respect to that how much credit you want, input in your finished good with respect to that how much credit you want, and capital goods ka how much credit you want. Total amount you have to put in ITC 01 and you have to file within 30 days from the date when option is withdrawn or when the officer went ahead and gave you a denial order saying I am denying you composition. From that day, within how many days? 30 days you have to file ITC 01. Are we clear till here? Always remember one thing. If you are a normal person coming into composition scheme, you have to file GST ITC, GST CMP 02 and GST ITC 03 for going ahead and reversing the credit GST ITC 03 within 60 days. Now, if you are a composition person switching to normal scheme now, then GST CMP 04 and GST ITC 01 within 30 days telling how much credit I am eligible for. Are we clear, everyone? What is the difference between a normal scheme and a composition scheme? Normal scheme levy is under section number 9. Composition scheme levy is under section number 10. Normal scheme the rate is 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. Composition scheme the rate is 1%, 1%, 5% and 6%. Normal scheme the payment is done monthly. Composition scheme the payment is done quarterly once the quarter ends by 18th of the next month. Normal scheme may return is GSTR 3B and GSTR 9 which is there. Composition scheme may return is GSTR 4 and annual return is GSTR 9A. Normal scheme may you issue tax invoice. Composition scheme may you issue bill of supply. Normal scheme may you can take ITC. Composition may you can't take ITC. So whatever tax is payable, it is always payable in cash. Right, everyone, I'll go ahead and stop my discussion on composition over here. A graded topic, I believe, A graded or B graded, whatever you call it, 4 to 6 marks they go ahead and ask in the exam. Because this time there is an amendment, they might go ahead and ask you. Please be very careful about it. Everyone, you have to see always a person whose turnover is below 1.5 crore or 75 lakh. In the current year, he will be eligible. Once he is eligible, MTR has to pay 1, 1 and 5. Ineligible is mine. If 1 and 2 may you are ineligible, you can go for 10 to A also. And remember one thing, mines may manufacturer of pan masala, aerated water, ice cream, tobacco were already ineligible. Number 22 amendment is person who is making fly ash bricks, bricks of fossil meal or siliceous earth, or building bricks or roofing or earthen tiles, they are also manufacturers are ineligible. Right, everyone? I'll go ahead and stop my discussion or revision on the chapter of composition over here. Have a great day, everyone. Bye, guys. Take care.